So today I thought, what better way for you guys to get to better know me than to tell you guys 25 of my favorite things. My favorite animal is a frog and has been since I was probably like 6 years old. My favorite city is a toss-up between probably San Francisco or LA. They both have their pros and cons and I like both of them for very different reasons. Favorite day of the week has to of course be Friday because Friday is payday and Friday is just, the start of the weekend, so it's always just my favorite day. My favorite food is probably like burgers, like all American, just a burger, absolutely. Favorite holiday, of course, has to be Halloween. I'll post a picture of my Halloween costume this year. It's always been my favorite holiday since forever. My favorite book is anything by Chuck Palahniuk. I have read every single one of his books and I'm just such a fan of his. My favorite movie is Edward Scissorhands. My favorite childhood memory actually has to be a story of when I lived with my grandmother as a child. My sister and I thought it'd be a really cool idea to try to sneak out of the second floor window, and we ended up doing that by using a jump rope, I believe, to try to, go down the side of the house, and the jump rope obviously ended up breaking and I fell probably like a story and a half onto my back on the ground, and that was so silly but so much fun. My favorite radio station was definitely one that I listened to growing up. I don't really listen to the radio station much anymore, but it was 105.3 in Helena, Montana, and there was a radio show that they did every night or once a week that was called Love Notes and Dedications, I believe, and I always remember calling in and trying to get my voice on the radio, and so that definitely is probably my favorite radio station. Favorite sport, it's kind of weird as a gay man. Usually we're like not supposed to have favorite sports. We're not really supposed to be into sports, but growing up I always played baseball, and so that's still my favorite sport, and I think it's probably my favorite sport just because it's the one I understand completely. Other than like the statistics of like all of the players, like their RBI and all that kind of stuff, I don't really understand that, but the game itself, it definitely is my favorite. Favorite TV show has to be probably right now. We just finished up Project Runway. Before that, it's hard for me to get into a show unless it's like has like a really good plot or anything. So definitely The Following, I think, is the most recent one I just watched, and I watched all 3 seasons of that probably in like 2.5 weeks, and it was really good. Toward the end of the season, I kind of understand why it got canceled. It got a little fantastical, and nobody on that show ever died, but it was definitely one of my favorites. Favorite subject in school was, of course, anything art-related, painting, ceramics. I had this one really cool class called Industrial Design, I think, and we did like really kind of really interesting sort of like art projects. We did like stained glass, where we got to do like soldering and all of that. We did jewelry making, where we actually got to like cut copper and like weld it and all that kind of stuff. So definitely any sort of art class was always my favorite. Favorite actor definitely is a toss-up between 2 people. First, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, but not because of his acting, but because of his looks. He's like probably my celebrity crush. And probably Eddie Redmayne right now. I think that he is an underrated actor, but I think he does so good and is just so awesome. Of course, my favorite actress, and she cannot be touched by anybody else, and that's Meryl Streep, but that should be everyone's favorite actress. My favorite color is green. I do have an aesthetic throughout the rest of my life that's black, white, and gray. All of my clothing, I don't wear any other colors. My phone is black. Like everything is black, white, or gray. But my favorite color is definitely green, and it's really cool because it fluctuates with the seasons. So like in the winter it'll be really dark forest green, and in the summer it'll be really bright grass green, and so it just kind of depends on where we are in the season to like which color speaks to me at that time. Favorite restaurant, this is kind of embarrassing, but my favorite restaurant is probably Olive Garden. My boyfriend and I probably go like once a month at least, and I love Italian food, and who doesn't? Favorite car is actually my dream car also. It's the G-Wagon by Mercedes, and I think the Kardashians have probably about 30 of them, but probably in white or black or gray, again with my aesthetic, but definitely my favorite car. My favorite teacher growing up was, I can't remember his first name, but Mr. Schultz. He was my bio teacher, my earth science teacher, and he actually got me on the Disney Channel when I was like super young because he won Teacher of the Year, so we got to like do interviews with Disney and whatnot. But I learned so much from him, and he was so passionate about what he did. And he also did this thing every Friday called Fridays with Frank, where he would bring in treats for us, and we would listen to Frank Sinatra and like work on, you know, whatever projects we were working on. So he was always such a fun teacher. My favorite number is 7. It's definitely my lucky number. It's been that way since the beginning of time, I think. That or 13 or 3. One of those 3 numbers. My favorite soda is water. I don't really drink soda just because I've watched way too many documentaries about how bad soda is for you, so I just don't even touch it. My favorite cologne, there's definitely a toss-up between Burberry Touch or Lacoste Essentials. Lacoste Essentials is what I'm wearing right now. Which is kind of like a summery scent, but I'm more of like a citrusy kind of guy than a musky sort of guy, so, but it's a toss-up between those two. I think my favorite season is definitely fall, because especially here in Austin, when the weather starts to cool down, everyone dresses like 1,000 times better, starts layering scarves and things like that, so definitely love fall. My favorite fashion designer is a toss-up between 2. The first one is Balmain, and secondly, I think is probably Gareth Pugh, who's kind of another underrated designer, but he always like designs in black and white, which I just love. And with Balmain, I just love like the luxury of the brand, so it's just, you know, it's really pretty and always really extravagant. My favorite fast food probably is McDonald's, although I haven't had McDonald's in like months and months and months, but I remember just no, it's actually Taco Bell. Who are we kidding? Taco Bell is definitely my favorite of all time for fast food. I think my drink of choice is definitely coffee. I go to Starbucks probably 7 days a week. My drink of choice is definitely, always get a grande and a venti iced coffee with 6 pumps of vanilla and extra non-fat, and that is my go-to drink. However, now that it's fall, of course, the white girl in me definitely gets pumpkin spice every once in a while, but they charge more for that syrup, so I try not to get that as often. It's like a treat to myself. Lastly, my favorite music, it literally changes all the time, but I think definitely my favorite genre is like a chill electro kind of stuff. Something I want to start doing, if you guys, I'll have Spotify, I'll put my links so you guys can follow me. I have a couple playlists on there, but I want to start telling you guys, you know, about the kind of music that I listen to. I'm literally on Spotify like probably 2 or 3 hours a day just discovering like new artists and new kinds of music. So I definitely want to start like suggesting music to you guys. Definitely check these out. I'll always leave the links down below. But for this week, of course, my favorite song right now is Talk Me Down by Troye Sivan. He is such a great singer, and for so young, he sings so like wise, you know, beyond his age. So it's a really pretty song. It's a really sad song. If you watch the music video, it's also super depressing. But that's definitely my suggestion for the week. Alright, so I hope you guys had some fun learning a little bit about me and the kind of favorite things that I have. You guys down below, leave me some comments with some things that are favorites for you guys. And until next time, see you guys.